So we're back here again at the pond where we're fitting a new liner. If you wrapped it up like what I told you to, people's lives would be a lot easier. The weather's a lot better today. Absolutely chucking it down at the moment, and we should be able to get a lot more done. Got me helper here, James, again today.
James mapping, helping out today.
James mapping, here he is. It's inevitable that there's going to be some folds and creases because it's got a and look, customer's been busy as well. They've dug out all of this area, the bog garden. I didn't know whether they were going to keep those plants in there. Obviously not. They've all come out and they're going to replant them later with some moisture loving plants. Let's check on the fish before we get started with the work today. Fish are still safe and sound in the vats. Water's clearing actually. Still can't see them though because it's really deep and they're down on the bottom. They're mainly rudd that's in this tank here and goldfish. And then this is the tank where we're keeping the bigger fish. I've already turned the pump off for you. Again, you can't see them. They're going to be right down on the bottom. So today what we're going to be doing is finishing off the preparations on that wall over there. That wall was originally in the pond. It was a partitioning wall. The pond is leaking. If you haven't watched the previous videos, I'll just fill you in. We came and we emptied the pond out, concrete pond that's been leaking for a while, been repainted several times. We're here to put a new liner in. So we emptied the pond, stored the fish into these vats, and we put an extension on this internal pond wall here so that we can finish the pond liner on top of that. I did that in the last video. Today we've got to protect the liner from that natural stone wall. So fortunately I've managed to find some incredibly thick sheets of, I think it's out of a caravan awning. It's incredibly thick nylon ground sheet material, so it's really strong, it's really thick, and it's going for nothing. So we're going to use that recycling again. We like the recycling theme in this video. Used a lot of recycling stone to build that wall, so we've got 4 big pieces of that to make use of, and that should be nice and thick so that we don't have to worry about any sharp stones from that wall coming through and damaging our liner. We've also got a great stack of proper pond underlay as well down there, and we're going to use that to do the rest of the sides and the bottom of the pond before we put the liner in. Shall we get started then, James?
Yeah, let's get started.
Let's do it. We've grinded off most of the big chunks and sharp edges and things that are on that natural stone wall bit there, and now we've started installing this caravan awning ground sheet material. We're holding it firmly at the top with some bricks, pushing it back, making sure there's plenty available, so that will protect the liner from anything that's protruding at the back. So we've moved on now and we started to felt it. Because it's a pond that's made out of concrete, there really isn't any need to put felt down on the bottom. This was the finished surface. This is what the fish was swimming around on. So we're just going to sweep all the little stones and dust away from the middle here. And you'd think that we'd plan this out, but I haven't. We just guesstimated it. We're using underlay around the sides, all the way around the sides. So even there where we've put that that ground sheeting down, we're still using the felting all the way around. And the reason for that is that when it comes to tensioning up the liner, it's going to be around these edges where we're going to be pulling the liner up, and I feel that that's where the liner might just need a little bit of help slipping along the surface, and it's more likely to slip nicely and not get an issue on this felting than it would do on the concrete. So we'll finish off tidying this up, then we get to the exciting bit, which is moving that big liner and trying to get it into this hole, because it's a beast. It's really heavy. I'm thinking we're going to struggle a bit with that. Big piece of liner, what I've decided to do is open it out first to check how it's folded up, and we've had it open and stretched it out as best we can. We can't actually open it up fully because there's just not enough room. So what we've done, we've opened it up as much as possible, then we've got it and folded it back towards the middle, and we're going to roll it back up again. Then we're going to carry it into the pond. We're going to put it on the edge of the pond, roll it across, and just open it out. If you're watching liner people that wrap this stuff up, the way you wrap it up is stupid. If you wrapped it up like what I told you to, people's lives would be a lot easier. You're not going to start at the edge of the pond and tow it across. They're going to put it in the middle so they don't have to drag it across. Okay?
Yep.
Managed to wrestle this thing into the pond, and everybody's had to come out to help because it's such a big lump. What we've done, we've stretched it out across the whole of the pond, and now we're running a bit of water in. What the water's going to do is it's going to spread out, and it's going to help us to push all of the extra material over towards the sides and then ultimately up and over the edge. Yeah, so this takes a good while to do this. It's obviously a massive pond, and we're going to run some water in from the hose pipe first, then we might take some of that extra water that we've got in that tank in there as well. It's all working nicely. Quite happy with how things are progressing at the moment. So we've started running some water in now, and we've been going round just pulling on the edge of the liner as the water's filling up. It's pushing the liner back, taking the shape of the pond, and every few minutes we're going round and we're lifting the liner up and trying to give it as much line as it needs, but try and prevent any slack and ripples as best possible developing in the liner as it goes in. We're running some water in from the hose pipe and from the tank now as well. So we've got plenty of water in the tank for the fish. So that's enabled us to get about 6 inches of water in. It's taken about 25 minutes, 30 minutes. Everything's going to plan and I'm very pleased with things so far. The only thing that's a little bit awkward is because it's November, this water is really cold. I'm used to getting cold water, always in it. I think I need a hot bath tonight. So James has already moved some of the small fish back and got the vat emptied. There's a good 18 inches of water in the pond now. We've started to really fill it up. We've decided that the best thing to do is actually put the fish in here rather than leave them in the vat overnight. So we're going to transfer the big fish back now. Grab your net, James. Yep. There's no way he's going to be able to reach these fish in here. I bet I end up having to climb in there, James, to get these.
Oh, you won't, mate.
You're going to be able to get them. Lift the pump out first. Right, swing the pump out from here, look.
It's tied in.
Yeah, but swing it out from here. Do it carefully. That's it. Now then, how are we going to do this?
Excuse me.
Need a step ladder.
No, I went from front.
Yeah, no chance.
From there that you're going to have to climb in.
I'll have to climb in. That's a grass carp, that big one there. 24-inch long sturgeon in here as well. So we picked today to do this liner because according to the weather, it's going to be a decent day. Wow. Absolutely chucking it down at the moment. And here's me stood in a vat trying to catch these fish. Most of them are back now actually, but you can just about see them. It'd look lovely and clear, that water, if it weren't for all this rain. Sun's shining again now. That's typical, isn't it? Look how nice it is today now. Can't believe it. Difference an hour makes. So all the fish have gone back in and we've started to clean up this edge. So we're working our way around and all the time we're lifting the liner up and trying to, as best we can, remove any folds and creases, and we let the water push the liner back into place. We use bricks along the top of the edge to hold the liner firmly in place, and every time you give it a tug you can just slide the liner underneath the brick and that takes up the slack liner. We've got quite a bit more water back in the pond now, and what we've been doing is working on tidying up the edge a little bit. Whenever you're putting a liner in, the important thing is to take your time. You cannot do it in a rush. You have to keep making small adjustments to the liner to try and get some of the folds and creases out of it. So along this edge now, we've trimmed off a bit of the excess liner, and to make the adjustments all that you need to do is just keep giving it a tug. And what we're trying to do is trying to get it as neat as possible along the edge. It's inevitable that there's going to be some folds and creases because it's got a contour on the pond. That is absolutely inevitable. You can't avoid them. But we can pull a lot of them out to the side. We're also stacking blocks up along that edge there so that there's no danger of the wind getting under the liner and moving it, tipping it over into the pond. This is going to need to be left for hours and hours and hours to fill up, and we're going to have to keep coming back and making small adjustments to it as it goes. The first 18 inches were easy because of the shape of the pond, with it being this cone shape with a dish bottom. Of course it fills up really quickly in the beginning, and that's how I've been able to get the fish back. But now, because it's spreading out, I mean that's 25 foot across there. It's going to take all night, if not longer, before this is filled up to the top. Am I covered in muck again? Because last time I had muck all over my face, didn't I, on the video? I'm sure someone will be pointing that out in the comments. We'll leave it there for today. Please remember to subscribe to the channel, put some comments in the comment section below, and give me a thumbs up. Appreciate you watching. Thank you very much. Bye for now.